National Clandestine Service that had apparently seen more Jason Bourne-type action than Matt Damon himself, something he loved to share at every opportunity. I had my doubts, since he had a little bit of a gut and smoked cigarettes like a chimney. I couldn't see him running more than a block before putting his hands on his knees, no matter what skills he professed to have. "Jesse, give me a status." "Car's still creeping, but no flashing lights or anything." Jesse had also come over from the NCS, but unlike Krantz, he showed some serious talent. He was the youngest on the team and looked like a college student, but he was a smart problem solver who was ice under pressure. I was pretty sure Krantz embarrassed him. The rest of the team was pure commando. Retro and Bull were special forces, and both had worked with me in my last unit. We'd all been recruited together as a package. Reaper was a SEAL, and appeared to be okay. Krantz was the issue. He seemed to have little dick syndrome, and he was always trying to prove he was as big of a badass as the military guys. "Krantz, get your ass out of the building. You still have time." I heard nothing for a moment, and then Reaper came on. His voice sounded clinical, but I could read the underlying anger. "Pike, we've penetrated the office, but we left evidence. That jackass broke a door or a window." Then the situation got worse. Pike, lights are on. Lima Echo is coming hard." I started moving immediately, trying to get a read on the approaching vehicle. "Reaper, Krantz, you hit an alarm. Get out, get out." Krantz said, 5 seconds, might as well get what we came for." The police car swung into an empty parking space right out front, hitting the building with its spotlight and causing patrons from the local bars to become a gaggle of onlookers. I saw the officer in the driver's seat shouting into a radio, scared. Not a role player, we're in deep shit. The mission just went from exercise to real world, because there was no way I could allow the police to compromise our fledgling little unit. After 9/11, my boss, Kurt Hale, had realized the limitations inherent in our own government's fight against radical Islam, and set out hell-bent on making drastic changes. With the new administration, he'd finally succeeded. We'd only been up and running for 4 months, and it was looking like we were going to end up on CNN as a bunch of clowns, which would more than likely cause the resignation of the President of the United States. I slipped into the shadows, heading away from the target building. "Retro, what do you have on the scanner?" "He's talking, calling in backup. He's been told to hold fast until it arrives." So I had maybe a minute to solve the problem. "Krantz, Reaper status?" Reaper came back, running somewhere and panting. "Got the target package? Headed to the roof. We'll escape through the cemetery on the north side. Pick up on Church Street." "Roger that. You got about a minute to hit the ground before they lock this place down. Jesse, you got exfil. Retro, what do you have?" Before he even answered, I heard the sirens. Then heard more bad news. "Pike, on the roof, and there's no fire escape we can't get down." "What the hell?" "Reaper, climb the damn building. It's granite stone with ledges at each floor, nothing to it." Roger, I can do it, but Krantz can't." That damn liar. Krantz had been placed as my second-in-command by Kurt. A little bit of forced love between the military guys and the CIA. I understood the reasoning. The Taskforce was supposed to be a blending of elements, that it was legally stovepiped by United States code. But somebody should have done some fact-checking before Krantz was allowed to go operational. I had no idea how the CIA had picked the men to participate. Clearly, Kurt trusted them to use some selection process, but he had been relying on his own experiences. Each of the military members had been handpicked from special mission units in the Department of Defense. In effect, we were already the cream of the crop, though it was looking like that wasn't the case on the CIA side. 2 patrol cars, sirens blaring and lights flashing, passed me in my little hide site on Meeting Street and kept going. My mind switched into high gear, leaving the quandary of the exercise behind, moving seamlessly into combat mode. Something I knew a little about. Something that was distinctly in my element. Solve the problem. Reaper, find an anchor point for a rope.